permission was given to the SSPX in principle, although in actuality, there was never an agreement on when they were allowed to go through with it.
The SSPX is very near and dear to your heart. And on the inside of the SSPX, they're going through some things because, I mean, they had their initial set of bishops, and then the ones that were ordained in 88, as it were, and caused the kerfuffle and all of that sort of settled down. But what happens now? Because I know that there is a need to have new bishops in the church, in the SSPX, and yet there's this discrepancy with Rome. Are there any hopes that way, thoughts that way? Do you know of anything?
So I don't have any insider information. I do obviously support the society. I attend, and I did write a book on my own that I self-published called SSPX The Defense, but I don't work for the society or anything. I just like to make that clear to people because they think I'm, I've been accused of being part of this or that conspiracy, and I'm like, no, I'm just, as Taylor says, I'm a dad with a webcam. Taylor actually has a really nice camera. I'm actually on a webcam, so he can't say that anymore. But there is a lot of information that is public that most people don't know about because it's either in a different language or it's in just some conference talk or something. The SSPX doesn't, do a ton of social media activity and stuff. So, yes, they will need to consecrate bishops. The SSPX has grown probably, 4 or 5 times the amount of parishioners, maybe more than it had in 1988, probably more, maybe 10 times. There's an estimate that they have around 1 million faithful they serve around the world today, many of them in North America and Europe, and many of them in places like Africa and Asia. They have tons of missionaries that are going into different countries in Asia and whatnot all the time. And they have 2 living bishops left who perform the traditional sacraments that are reserved for bishops. So confirmations, and then, of course, priestly ordinations and consecrations of bishops. So a little background. When Archbishop Lefebvre and Bishop Castro Mayer, who was not of the SSPX, but he was of Brazil, but he was another holdout for the traditional faith at that time, when he went forth with the consecrations, there was a long process of basically trying to have everything to be done in the perfectly legal sense above board. And permission was given to the SSPX in principle, although in actuality, there was never an agreement on when they were allowed to go through with it. So there was an accord reached between Lefebvre and Ratzinger. Anyway, so that was what happened then, and Dom Pagliarani, who was the current superior general of the society, said, I think in 21 or 22, that yes, they're obviously thinking about it, and this was before Bishop Tissier, God rest his soul, had passed away, and he said that they would do the same thing. So there's going to be no middle of the night consecration or, secret thing, whatever. It will be something where they will present themselves to the Holy Father and they will say, this is our intention and we would like your blessing to do so. And if you'd like us to blah, 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 do this and that, we will do this. And then the only way they would go through with it without permission is if they've exhausted all the options and then it becomes clear that for the preservation of the traditional priesthood, there's no other way, the state of necessity, so to speak. And that's the plan. So since they've gone down to 2 bishops, there have been various general superiors or district superiors, Italy, Germany, and so forth, who have said, yes, this is something we'll see in the near future. So this probably means next year, probably not this year, because it would usually happen in the summer. Although, for all I know, they're having conversations right now and have been. So it remains to be seen. Personally, I really think that Pope Leo will want to avoid another 1988 for a couple reasons. Number one, things are very different than they were in 1988. Tradition at the time was like this very niche, seemingly rebellious thing. Now it's like the bee's knees, and the biggest, pilgrimage in the church is the traditional Catholics walking in France. So it's making the mainstream media, for goodness sake. And our mutual friend Taylor Marshall, the biggest English-speaking Catholic podcaster in the world, is talking about how much he loves Lefebvre on his channel and things like that. So things are just very, very different than they were then. And the 1988 fallout was very confusing because canonically it was a very specious or dubious decision, which canon lawyers had been yelling at each other about for the last 37 years. And Pope Leo is a canon lawyer. So, I think that's important because he's going to want to have a real solution to this. So what will he do? My gut tells me he'll want to find a solution. I don't know what'll be, but my speculation is that there will be permission for at least a couple bishops, and I'm thinking that we'll start to see some other bishops in the church sort of help the society out, if that makes sense.
Aloha everyone, this is Jason Jones for LifeSite News. We hope you enjoyed this video. For more content like this, check the link in the description. You can also connect with us on social media to stay up to date with the latest news on life, faith, family, and freedom. Thanks for watching, and may God bless you.